This video is all about how to stay encouraged in the entrepreneurial process. I don't know if I even said that right. Entrepreneurial. So as you can imagine, I wouldn't even be making this video if the entrepreneurial process was just this smooth ship that went sailing. It was never discouraging. It was never frustrating. I wouldn't be making this video. But if you are somebody who has tried to start a goal, tried to start a business, tried to go after an industry or a position, tried to start a ministry, a nonprofit, whatever the case may be, you have dreams and goals for your life, things you want to do, you know that leadership in any of these roles can feel incredibly discouraging after a while, because not everybody understands what it's like to run a business in your specific industry. Maybe you're in a small town like I am. Maybe you have some friends, but really not a big group of people that are running after the exact same thing that you are. So it feels kind of isolating. And there's a few different things that I have done to remain encouraged when I am going after these business dreams for my life and I'm not seeing that ROI. I'm not seeing the results after what I feel like is exorbitant amounts of effort and energy. I have, number one, created goals and created schedules around those goals, created micro goals to support the bigger goals. And it's something that I go back to literally every week. So it's one thing to set goals at the beginning of the year, but it's another thing to keep going back and checking in on those goals, having them written down in a place that you will regularly look at them and check in on them and find out where you're at and make pivots and adjustments as needed. I have a whole spreadsheet that I have created that lists the markers of the things that I want to hit. And I want to encourage you to do that same thing. Set goals, set micro goals that support those goals. And if you've ever heard of reverse engineering, do the reverse engineering process and find out what you need to do to lead up to the bigger goal that you have. Set a schedule, carve out time in your schedule, literally make an appointment. I believe this is an Apple calendar which I don't know, of an Apple calendar. And if I hit on any of these 1 days, I have different things, appointments that I've set out. I even set appointments for making phone calls, or sending a text message, because I do not want to forget even the smallest thing that I know I need to do to get done in that day. And because I have so many things that I'm involved in a nonprofit. I have a full-time business that I work in. I have freelance marketing clients. And then of course I have my side hustle, my YouTube, my content creation stuff. Not to mention I'm a wife and I'm a mom of 4. I have a lot going on, just like I'm sure that you do. And there's no way I would stay on top of that if I did not carve out time for all of the to-do lists that I have in any given day. The other thing that you can do is connect with other business owners, other people who are, if they're not exactly related to your industry, they're somewhat related. And you can talk and get ideas and just have a safe place to connect with other people who more closely get what it is that you're going through. I even recommend following people online that are inspiring and motivating and encouraging, making their podcasts that they have or their YouTube videos that they put up, the content that they create, a part of your daily or weekly ingestion, which I don't know if that's a great way to put that, of content that you consume that gets you motivated and encouraged to keeping on the journey. The other thing that I think is really key is untying your happiness from the end destination of what you're going for. And this is really hard because I'm going to guess that if you have a goal, it's because you think at the end of this goal, it's going to make you really happy and successful. But what I have found is that when I have a goal for my business or myself that I'm going after, if it doesn't happen in my time frame, I tend to get really irritated and frustrated and discouraged. If I'm putting a lot of energy and effort towards it and I'm not seeing the results from it as quickly as I want to see them or even at all, I get really discouraged. And if the lack of results make what I'm doing less fun, I tend to start to taper off and not really pursue it as much as I did in the very beginning. But if I want that long-term game and if I want that end result, I have to untie my happiness from that end destination of what it exactly looks like. Because number one, it may not in the end look like I think it's going to look like. And number two, I have no control over the very end piece of what it actually looks like and how long it's going to take, or the how of how it's going to happen. I can just control me and my attitude and my work ethic and my perspective and the things that I'm doing in the day-to-day to make it happen. But whether or not at the end of a year or 5 years, it looks like what I have in my head right now, if I don't get control of deciding in this moment in the process that I'm going to enjoy the journey of getting there, then I will have spent a whole lot of time and effort and energy. And how often do we get involved in things and we start something and then it doesn't really look like we thought that it would? It's not as enjoyable, or we don't find that we're as passionate about it. It happens a lot. But if you can decide for yourself that you're going to enjoy the journey and where it takes you, and yes, you can have these overarching things of, I want financial freedom. I want success. I want to live my purpose. I want to live my God-given purpose and give fully as God has called me to fully show up and give in life. I want to utilize the talents so I can pour in and serve other people. Yes, you can have these overarching themes, but don't forget to release yourself from the pressure of making it happen in just a specific certain way. Because God can bring about those things, the financial freedom, the success, the living your purpose in his own way that might be different than what you're going after in the moment. And that's not to say, oh, don't go after it because it might be the wrong thing. Because I think so many times we hold back because we feel like we're going to get it wrong, that we don't even take those steps forward, where the answer is no, 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 don't hold back, but yes, 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 keep moving forward and allow God to redirect as he sees fit. Don't be so paralyzed by the fear of getting it wrong or making a mistake or wasting a year of your life or whatever the case may be, that you're not willing to take steps to try to make it happen, because God wastes nothing. No experience that you've had or failure that you've had is ever a complete waste. He uses it all. And maybe you needed that failure and that mistake in order to be the most effective that you could possibly be in the role that he has 5 years down the road from you. So rather than begrudge those things that are frustrating pieces of your story, and hello, I know I do it myself, but it's a constant reminder of, you know what, I could pull something from that experience that's going to make me a better person and has made me a better person and actually qualified and equipped me for the role that's ahead of me. The storms that you face, the challenges that you go through are all vital pieces of your story that help build you and create you and give you the stamina and resiliency that you're going to need when you're standing up against the challenges that are ahead of you. Those pieces of your story that are hard and where you didn't get it right, where there was a failure or a mistake, they don't define you and they don't define your future. And I know you might know this in your head, but it's a long journey from the head to the heart. And you're going to have to continually remind yourself of this again and again and again, because no matter what rung of the ladder you find yourself on, you're going to come up against intimidation and insecurity, where you're going to have to look at that in the face and decide for yourself, I am qualified. Those pieces of my past have made me and built me, and God has brought beauty out of those parts of my life, and they're not going to be what holds me back anymore. Shame has to go, and it has no place in your future. Shame doesn't get to write your story. You do.